Ever wonder what would happen if your dad, of all people, turned out to be the most wanted serial killer or Jeffrey Dahmer of the town? Buckle up, because today on Movies Unboxed, we're diving into a thriller that flips the script on the usual, doting parent takes kid to a concert trip. And trust me, this isn't your average daddy-daughter bonding time.
So, the movie kicks off with Cooper Adams, who on the surface seems like the quintessential dad of the year. You know, the kind who's willing to suffer through hours of tween pop music just to make his daughter, Riley, smile. He's driving her to the much-anticipated Lady Raven concert, the hottest ticket in town. And Riley? She's practically vibrating with excitement, chatting nonstop about school drama, especially about this girl Jody, who seems to have made it her life's mission to ruin Riley's social life. High school, where even the smallest drama feels like the end of the world. But little does Riley know, she's got bigger problems than Jody. Now, while Riley is all about the music and gossip, Cooper's got a whole different agenda. See, he's not just a dad. He's the butcher, a serial killer with a knack for avoiding the authorities. And tonight, while Riley is busy losing her mind over Lady Raven's hit singles, Cooper's mind is on something far darker. He excuses himself from the concert floor under the classic, "I need to use the bathroom" excuse. But instead of doing what any normal dad would do, checking sports scores, maybe scrolling through Facebook, Cooper's checking a live feed from a camera he's rigged up to monitor a man named Spencer Gordon. Who's Spencer, you ask? Just a guy Cooper's holding captive, as one does. Because really, why enjoy a concert when you can multitask by keeping tabs on your prisoner? On his way back to Riley, because he does have to maintain the whole caring dad act, Cooper bumps into Jody's mom. Now, this woman is on a mission of her own, to hash out the drama between their daughters. Like it's somehow Cooper's fault that Jody's being a nightmare. He does his best to dodge the conversation with all the charm of a man who really doesn't want to be discussing teenage girl politics, and somehow manages to extricate himself and return to his seat. But just as he's thinking he's in the clear, he notices a few too many police officers entering the venue. Not exactly the kind of crowd you want to see when you've got more skeletons in your closet than a Halloween store. Intermission rolls around, and Cooper's trying to keep the night magical for Riley. So he takes her to the merch stand to grab a concert t-shirt, because nothing says, "I had a great time," like overpriced band gear. But of course, things don't go smoothly, because what fun would that be? Just as they're about to buy the last t-shirt, some other girl snatches it up. Now, any regular dad might just shrug it off, but not Cooper. He strikes up a conversation with the vendor, Jamie, trying to see if there's any way to get another shirt. And it's here that Jamie, ever the chatty Cathy, drops some chilling news. The cops are on high alert because they got a tip that a notorious serial killer, known only as the Butcher, might be at the concert. Cooper manages to laugh it off like he's not the guy they're hunting, but inside, he's screaming. Because guess what? He is the Butcher. Talk about an inconvenient revelation. Now fully aware that his cover could be blown any minute, Cooper knows he needs to create a diversion. And not just any diversion. One big enough to keep the cops busy while he figures out his next move. So what does he do? Oh, just casually shoves a drunk woman down a flight of stairs. Naturally, the commotion that follows distracts the crowd, giving Cooper the breathing room he needs. He slips back to his seat just in time for the next act. Lady Raven, joined by Parker Wayne, starts her next song, and Riley's completely absorbed in the performance. Meanwhile, Cooper's on high alert, cracking a joke about sneaking under the stage to see where Parker popped out from, but Riley's too engrossed to pay attention to her dad's bizarre humor. But Cooper's mind is racing. He heads back to Jamie, still in pursuit of that elusive t-shirt. But it's not just the merch he's after. He's also looking for a way to stay one step ahead of the cops. Jamie, ever the eager true crime fan, starts talking about the Butcher's killings in gruesome detail. And Cooper, always the opportunist, uses this as a distraction to swipe Jamie's ID card. Because when you're trying to outsmart the police, a little unauthorized access never hurts. Armed with Jamie's ID, Cooper sneaks into a restricted area where the cops are gathered, strategizing on how to catch the Butcher. And Cooper, being the overachiever that he is, even manages to swipe a police radio. Now he's got an inside line on their plans. He listens in as Dr. Josephine Grant, the FBI's top profiler, outlines how the Butcher might try to escape. But Cooper's not worried. He's already 2 steps ahead. He slips out before anyone notices he's there, all the while keeping his cool like he didn't just outsmart a room full of law enforcement. Just as he's about to make a clean getaway, guess who shows up again? That's right, Jody's mom. She's more persistent than a telemarketer, insisting on having that conversation about their daughters. Cooper, desperate to avoid drawing any more attention, agrees to let Riley and Jody hang out after the concert, just to get Jody's mom off his back. Because nothing says responsible parent like arranging a playdate with the daughter of the woman who could blow your cover. But Cooper knows the cops are expecting chaos, so he decides to give them exactly what they're looking for. Disguising himself as an arena staff member, he chucks 2 glass bottles filled with oil into a hot fryer, causing a massive explosion that sends the crowd into a frenzy. As people scream and panic, Cooper slips away, Making his way up to the roof, he's stopped by 2 SWAT officers, but with Jamie's ID and the code word Hamilton, he convinces them he's supposed to be there. Just another day in the life of a serial killer, trying to keep it together during a family outing. Back in the concert hall, where dreams are made or shattered with the strum of a guitar, Riley's night is about to take a turn that no one saw coming. Lady Raven, the gothic queen of pop, is moments away from selecting her coveted dreamer girl, an honor so sought after that it practically comes with a lifetime supply of teenage envy. Enter Cooper, a man who's about to prove that when life gives you lemons, you should squeeze them into someone's eyes and steal their wallet. Cooper spots an opportunity as golden as Lady Raven's hair extensions. He approaches a spotter who, conveniently, also happens to be Lady Raven's uncle. Now, Cooper doesn't just ask for Riley to be the chosen one. That would be too easy and way too boring. Instead, he spins a tale so tragic that Shakespeare himself would shed a tear. You see, according to Cooper, Riley has recently overcome a battle with leukemia. A story so heart-wrenching, it's practically dripping with Oscar potential. The uncle, of course, buys this sob story hook, line, and sinker, and just like that, Riley is catapulted into the spotlight as Lady Raven's dreamer girl. But don't get too comfortable. This isn't your typical fairy tale. While Riley is over the moon, Cooper's eyes are darting around the room faster than a caffeinated squirrel, scanning for any sign of Dr. Grant or the ever-looming police force. As Riley takes the stage beside her idol, Cooper keeps his distance, his mind already 3 steps ahead. Meanwhile, in the audience, Jody and her mom look like they're about to combust with jealousy, which only adds fuel to Cooper's fire. After the performance, Lady Raven isn't done yet. She's about to kick off her final set with The Thinker, a collaboration as anticipated as a reality TV showdown. But for Cooper, this is the perfect distraction. While everyone else is lost in the music, he's slipping away once again. This time, playing the hero by helping a girl who looks like she's about to pass out. He guides her to the medical tent, but don't be fooled. His mind is racing faster than the beats dropping on stage. The concert wraps up, and the tour manager, blissfully unaware of the chaos brewing beneath the surface, brings Cooper and Riley backstage for a private meet and greet with Lady Raven. It's here that Cooper's world starts to spin out of control. Through the crackle of a police radio, Cooper hears Dr. Grant issuing an order that makes his blood run cold. The police are to search every man leaving the venue. Cooper knows his window of opportunity is slamming shut faster than a hotel door during a fire alarm. Thinking on his feet, because if there's one thing Cooper's good at, it's improvisation. He pulls Lady Raven aside and drops a bombshell so explosive, it should come with a warning label. He claims he's the butcher, the elusive criminal everyone's been hunting for. To prove he's not bluffing, Cooper flashes his phone, revealing a live feed of Spencer's location. And just in case Lady Raven thinks about screaming for help, Cooper sweetens the deal with a threat to flood Spencer's room with carbon monoxide if she dares expose him. Trapped between a rock and a deadly place, Lady Raven agrees to smuggle Cooper and Riley out in her limo, a vehicle so celebrity, even the police won't dare search it. As the limo glides through the night, Riley is practically floating on Cloud 9, chatting away with her idol, completely oblivious to the dark cloud looming over them. Cooper, on the other hand, is anything but relaxed. His instincts are screaming that Lady Raven might have an ulterior motive, and he's not about to let his guard down. When they finally arrive home, Cooper's wife, Rachel, and their son, Logan, are there to greet them. In a move that's almost too perfect, Rachel invites Lady Raven to stay for dinner. What's a little dinner among friends, right? As they sit down to eat, the conversation takes a sharp left turn into dangerous territory. Lady Raven, ever the master of subtlety, begins to steer the discussion toward none other than the butcher himself. She casually drops insights from her research on the killer, describing how he's likely obsessive-compulsive, how he uses fake houses to carry out his crimes, and how the police were tipped off to his presence at the concert because of a ticket receipt found at one of his crime scenes. Cooper, sensing that the temperature in the room is rising, tries to divert the conversation, but Lady Raven isn't about to let him off the hook that easily. She offers to play a song on the piano, a move so smooth, it could only come from someone with ulterior motives. While everyone is distracted by the music, Lady Raven skillfully swipes Cooper's phone and slips away to the bathroom, locking the door behind her. Inside, Lady Raven isn't just touching up her makeup. She's communicating with Spencer, trying to orchestrate his escape. And because she's a woman who loves a good dramatic twist, she starts a live stream, hoping her legion of fans can help pinpoint Spencer's location. One fan, sharp-eyed and quick-fingered, recognizes the place, and Lady Raven instructs her to call the police. Meanwhile, outside the bathroom door, Rachel is getting more suspicious by the second. She presses her ear against the door, and what she hears is enough to shatter her world. Lady Raven reveals the truth to Rachel. Cooper isn't just a concerned husband, he's the butcher. Enraged and cornered, Cooper does what any rational serial killer would do. He kicks down the bathroom door. But by the time he gets there, it's too late. His wife and kids are gone, and Spencer is no longer a sitting duck. Cooper, now more desperate than ever, forces Lady Raven to handcuff herself as they plot their next move. But here's where things take a dark turn. Sensing Cooper's vulnerability, Lady Raven starts speaking to him in a way that tugs at his deeply buried emotions, reminding him of his mother, a woman who clearly left some scars. Cooper confesses his twisted plan, one last murder before ending his own life. Just as Cooper is about to open the garage door and make their escape, he's hit with a gut-punching reality check. Rachel is outside, standing with Riley and Logan, and the police have surrounded the house. Cooper, always the survivor, makes a quick retreat, escaping through a hidden exit that leads into the neighbor's yard. But don't think Cooper's giving up that easily. Disguised as a SWAT officer, because at this point, why not? He sneaks back into Lady Raven's limo, determined to drive away with her. He handcuffs her to the door, thinking he's got the upper hand. But Lady Raven has one last trick up her sleeve. She rolls down the window and, with a casual flick of the wrist, draws the attention of a nearby crowd of fans. Cue the ominous music as the cops roll in, probably expecting to nab an easy win this time. But of course, nothing in this movie is ever that simple. After a dramatic standoff, because why wouldn't there be one, they shoot out the limo's tires. Now, you'd think that'd be the end of it, right? They'd open the door, haul Cooper's deranged self out, and we'd all go home early. Well, you thought wrong. Instead, when they finally crack open the door, all they find is an empty SWAT uniform lying there like some discarded Halloween costume. And Cooper? Well, he's pulled his favorite Houdini act and vanished once again. I'm starting to think he has a part-time gig as a magician on the weekends. Cut to Lady Raven, who's probably wondering why she signed up for this mess in the first place, getting escorted to Spencer's location. Spencer, our resident damsel in distress, who, after spending the entire movie looking like a deer caught in headlights, is finally safe. The hero of the hour? A fan who recognized the place. Because, apparently, random fans now double as detectives. Lady Raven, clearly relieved this ordeal is over, thanks the fan and then tries to calm Spencer down. Good luck with that. Meanwhile, over at Rachel's house, things are looking about as cheery as a Monday morning. Her kids are safely stashed away at her sister's place, but Rachel? She's left alone in this horror show. But just when you thought Cooper had had enough fun for one day, he decides to make a grand re-entrance, sneaking back into the house like the world's creepiest jack-in-the-box. He's determined to finish what he started, because why just ruin your own life when you can drag everyone else down with you? Cooper, ever the charmer, confronts Rachel, tossing accusations around like confetti at a parade. He's convinced she's the one who tipped off the police. Rachel, now firmly done with his nonsense, admits she was suspicious of his bizarre behavior. She thought at first that maybe, just maybe, he was having an affair. But then things took a turn for the weird. He started smelling like a janitor who took a bath in cleaning chemicals that she knew had nothing to do with his day job at the firehouse. And here's where things really get wild. She stumbled upon one of his fake crime scenes, because apparently, Cooper's a criminal mastermind with a side hustle in staging fake crimes. She planted a ticket receipt there, did her civic duty, and alerted the authorities. Cooper's about to do something truly regrettable when Rachel, channeling her inner Martha Stewart, offers him a slice of pie. Not just any pie, though. This one's special, made for Riley's concert celebration. How sweet. Except, not really. Because Cooper takes a bite and, surprise, surprise, the pie's laced with drugs. Never saw that one coming, did you, Coop? As the drugs kick in, Cooper starts hallucinating, because that's the natural progression of things in this universe. He begins to see his mother's face, and honestly, that's probably the least terrifying thing he's seen all day. While he's having this drug-induced family reunion, the police barge in, tase him like it's a new sport, and finally subdue him. Well, that's one way to end a bad trip. So, Cooper's getting hauled off in handcuffs, looking less like the big bad villain and more like someone who really should have just stayed in bed. But we're not done yet. In a heart-wrenching moment, cue the tissues, Riley and Logan come home. Riley, understandably devastated, gives her dad one last hug before the cops drag him away. But just before Cooper's stuffed into the police car, because this movie needs one more twist, he props up Riley's old bicycle. Now, you're probably thinking, what's with the bike? Well, let me tell you, the camera zooms in, and we see that one of the spokes is missing. Done, done, done. It's like a horror movie's version of an Easter egg. In a final, spine-chilling twist, we see Cooper already using that missing spoke to pick the lock on his handcuffs. Of course, he is. The movie ends with a sinister smile creeping across his face, hinting that we're probably in for a sequel that no one asked for, but everyone will end up watching anyway. And that, my friends, is how you wrap up a thriller that just refuses to let you breathe easy. If you enjoyed watching everything unravel in the most dramatic fashion possible, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of the insanity we unbox next. This has been another unhinged episode of Movies Unboxed, where we dig into the good, the bad, and the downright bizarre. so you don't have to. See you in the next one.